What is the biggest river in the world? Uh, Many people say Nile, River Amazon, Brahmaputra, Yangtze, Mekong. No. The biggest river name is the global conveyor belt. Anyway, where is it? It is not on the surface of the earth, but it is under the ocean. It's a huge river, 60 times more volume than all the rivers combined on the surface of the earth. The global conveyor belt. Invisible to us creatures, an underwater current circles the globe with a force 16 times as strong as all the rivers combined. This deep water current is known as the global conveyor belt and is driven by density, or also known as thermohaline circulation, because water density depends on its temperature. Temperature, and salinity, haline. Thermohaline. Density refers to an object's mass per unit volume, or how compact it is. A heavy, compact bowling ball is obviously going to be denser than an air-filled beach ball. With water, colder and saltier equals denser. At the Earth's poles, when water freezes, the salt doesn't necessarily freeze with it. So a large volume of dense, cold, salt water is left behind. When this dense water sinks to the ocean floor, more water moves in to replace it, creating a current. The new water also gets cold and sinks, continuing the cycle. Incredibly, this process drives a current of water around the globe. The global conveyor belt begins with the cold water near the North Pole and heads south between South America and Africa towards Antarctica, partly directed by the land masses it encounters. In Antarctica, it gets recharged with more cold water and then splits in two directions. One section heads to the Indian Ocean and the other to the Pacific Ocean. As the two sections near the equator, they warm up and rise to the surface in what you may remember as upwelling. When they can't go any further, the two sections loop back to the South Atlantic Ocean and finally to the North Atlantic Ocean, where the cycle starts again. The global conveyor belt moves much more slowly than surface currents, a few centimeters per second compared to tens or hundreds of centimeters per second. Scientists estimate that it takes one section of the belt 1,000 years to complete one full circuit of the globe. However slow it is, though it moves a vast amount of water, more than 100 times the flow of the Amazon River. The global conveyor belt is crucial to the base of the world's food chain. As it transports water around the globe, it enriches carbon dioxide poor, nutrient depleted surface waters, by carrying them through the ocean's deeper layers where those elements are abundant. The nutrients and carbon dioxide from the bottom layers that are distributed through the upper layers enable the growth of algae and seaweed that ultimately supports all forms of life. The belt also helps to regulate temperatures. It brings warmth to Europe Otherwise, they would be locked in a permanent ice age. A well-known density-driven current occurs where the saltier Mediterranean Sea empties into the Atlantic Ocean. During the World War II, submarines used this current to enter and leave the Mediterranean without even turning on their engines. Many scientists fear that global warming could affect the global conveyor belt. If global warming leads to increased rain, as some believe it might, the added fresh water could decrease the salinity levels at the poles. Melting ice, another possibility of global warming, would also decrease salinity levels. Regardless of the means, the end scenario is the same. Warmer, less dense water won't be dense enough to sink, and the global conveyor belt could stop and trigger ice age, having far-reaching and devastating consequences. Thank you.